Hey everyone, thanks for learning to play games. My name is Lance, and in today's video I'm going to be playing through a brand new game I just got in, which is Tales to Amaze. This is part of the Unmatched Adventures system, which is a brand new system that works in conjunction with the regular Unmatched system and allows you to play fully cooperative games for 1 to 4 players that take roughly 45 minutes to an hour and a half to play, and this is a brand new game from Restoration Games. So in this one, this gives you 2 new enemies, or 2 new bosses that you basically will be able to fight using any of the characters. Now, this game does come with 4 characters that you can play right out of the box, so you have everything you need in there. But you also can mix and match, so if you have any other unmatched games, you can use those characters within this system and take on the bosses. So there's 2 different ones. There's going to be Mothman included in this one, and then the Martians, or Alien Invasion, more or less. So in this video, I'm going to be playing through the Mothman one, and I've decided to really go thematic and play with Buffy as well. So I'm going to use the Buffy characters in this, so it's kind of like a Buffy episode where she is going to have to track down and defeat Mothman. And he has a couple of minions he's brought with, which are the skunk ape and the tarantula. Giant tarantula. So we'll see how that goes. In the trial game, I got destroyed. So hopefully this one will go a little bit better now that I have a little bit understanding of what I'm getting into and what I have to go after. Now, in this one, each one of the bosses and the minions are going to be controlled by an initiative deck that is going to tell you when the different players and the different bosses and minions are going to go. And with this one, Mothman is trying to destroy the bridges. So as the threat level goes up, he is going to destroy bridges as that reaches the threshold, and then it'll kick back down. And if he's able to defeat 4 or destroy 4 bridges before the heroes are able to defeat him, then the game is over and the players have lost. So we'll see how I handle this, and if I can make it out and defeat Mothman, and if Buffy will live to tell another tale. So as always, if you find my videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we continue to grow and be able to produce this content. If you want to stay up to date on all my videos, also give that notification bell a ring, and I'll let you know whenever I drop new stuff, as I'm constantly dropping new playthrough videos, teaching videos, crowdfunding and Kickstarter coverage videos, and many others. And if you have any special requests, drop those in the comment section below as well. I love hearing from you and starting a conversation and seeing what you are interested in me covering as well. And let me know if you'd like to see anything else around this game or this system, as I was also thinking of maybe doing a teaching video for this one. So let me know if that's something that you'd like to see, and I'll see what I can do. So let's go ahead and head to the table, and we'll see how this one plays. All right, so before getting into it, there's a couple of additional things I have to handle for setup. So first thing is the bridges. So each bridge has a special ability that can be activated when you perform a maneuver and end on one of, or next to one of the bridges. So I have to mix these up, and then I'm going to place them out, and there are 4 different locations that are labeled on the map with the bridge number on them, and that'll be the order in which these bridges are going to be destroyed. Then the first bridge, the bridge number 1, is going to have a doom marker placed on it, and I was able to get some prototype or promo, not prototype, but promo items, which included the little moths, death moths instead of the tokens, and I have little Martians instead of the Martian tokens. So from there, then I have that all set up, and I've already placed out the different enemies I'm going against: Mothman, Skunk Ape, and Tarantula. And I've placed my characters out. They've drawn, each of them will start with a hand of 5 cards. For Buffy, I've chosen Giles, so he's going to be my sidekick. And Willow has Tara, so we'll see how that goes. And with Willow, she has a double-sided token, so anytime either her or Tara takes a wound, she becomes the Dark Willow instead. And if she ends next to Tara at the end of her turn, then she'll switch back. And Dark Willow has some additional abilities and effects on the cards that have to be handled. Some of them good, some of them not so good. So we'll see how that goes. All right, ready to jump into it. So the first thing I have to do is reveal cards from the initiative deck. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle that up real quick, and we'll see who gets to start out the game. Oh, Mothman's jumping at it already. Okay, so he's going to move 3 spaces. So you go 1, 2 to get to Giles. 1, 2, 3. He gets a Willow, so he's actually closer to Giles, so he is going to move 2 and attack. So in order to carry that out, I can choose to try to block that. Both of my blocks are with Buffy, though, unfortunately, so this could be a quick game for Giles. All right, so Mothman's going to draw, and it's 4 damage. Ouch. And it says, after combat, deal 1 damage to each adjacent opposing fighter. For each fighter damage this way, add a Doom token to the lowest number bridge. So that's going to have a second one, and Giles is going to take 5 wounds. So he is down to 1 hit point already. This is not a good start at all. And that is end of Mothman's turn. So next, we have Tarantula. All right, so Tarantula is also going to move 3 spaces. Mothman's there at least, so Giles is not going to get pounded again. And so, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Tarantula could come across the bridge there and attack Buffy. All right, so Buffy is going to hopefully defend here. And all right, so Buffy has, after combat, you may move all fighters adjacent to Buffy to another space in their zone, then deal 1 damage to each fighter you moved. That'd be great if she was next to a bunch, but right now she's only next to that one. So I'm going to go ahead and try this one. It's a 3 points, and it does heal her 1, but we'll see what happens with that. All right, so Tarantula is dealing 3 damage. And it says, an immediate cancel all effects on an opponent's card if Tarantula is in a space with a web token. Also ignore that card's value. So I'm okay there as he's not on a space with a web, so I still get my defense versus his attack, and it just nullifies it. So he doesn't do any damage, and I don't take any damage. All right, so that's 2 out of the 3. Is Skunk Ink going next? No. All right, so it's going to be over to us. All right, so Willow, what do we got with Willow? She's got a couple of defenses, a couple of strong defenses. Okay. The 3 spaces. Okay, so Skunkman is quite the pain. So I'm going to go ahead and do a maneuver. So I have to draw a card first. So I'll add that to my hand, another defense. Okay. And lets me move each of my fighters up to 2 spaces. I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to move across the bridge with Terra to kind of work my way up there, hopefully. And that's pretty much, all right, so that's pretty much what I can do there for that one. And I'm going to go ahead and do an attack. And I will do Rending Shot. So this is a 3-point attack. And Skunkman defends with 2. If the opposing fighter is a sidekick, the value of this card is instead 5. It is not. So he is going to take 1 point of damage. And then after combat, this effect is going to go off. It lets me move the opposing fighter up to 3 spaces. And the reason why Willow can attack is she is a ranged fighter, and that lets her target any space or any zone, which is the colors. So right now she's in the, I guess, pink zone and green zone. So she could target any enemy in a green zone, which could have been Mothman or even the spider. So she chose the Skunkman because he really hits hard. So I would like to get him out of there. All right, and then I get to move him. So I'm going to move him 1, 2, and 3 all the way up there to try to get him as far away as possible. That means that he won't be able to do much this turn, hopefully. All right, that is her turn, as that was the 2 actions. Now it is Skunkman, so he is going to, Skunkman moves 3 as well. And so he's going to 1, 2, 3 move his way towards that. All right, so then it is player 1 to go. So player 1. Oh boy. So I think at this point it would probably be good to do a maneuver. So that lets me draw a card. Okay. And then I can move each of my, both Buffy and Giles, up to 3 spaces. So 1, 2, I'm going to go there with him. And choose an opponent and look at their hands. Choose one card in their hands for them to discard. I'm going to go ahead and discard that so that I can... no, I don't want... I was thinking that was a different bridge here. No, I need to get to that bridge is what I need to get to. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'll keep moving. So I'm going to go ahead and move him there, and then Buffy can move. So I'm going to go ahead and move here. And I'm going to go ahead and use Mr. Pointy to attack. And I'm going to attack the Mothman. So he's going to defend. His defense is 2. So it says during combat, increase the value of this card by 1 for each destroyed bridge. I haven't had any destroyed bridges yet. It says after combat, place the Mothman in the closest empty starting space. Okay, so he's actually going to flip over here after combat, but he is going to take 3 points of damage from that. So that'll bring him down to 17. Okay. So not a bad attack. All right, so that was Buffy's second action as she maneuvered first and then attacked. All right, so at that point, now everybody is gone. So at the end of the round, I have to resolve the end of round effects. So this one says that I advance the threat marker, a number of spaces equal to 1 plus the number of doom tokens on the lowest number bridge. So it's 1, and then I add 2 more to that, so 3, and so it's there. Next is the tarantula. It says place a web token in tarantula space. If there is not one there already, there is not, so tarantula gets a web token. And then the skunk ape deals damage equal to the threat level to 1 hero or sidekick adjacent to skunk ape. So he would have done 4 damage if he was adjacent to somebody. So that's why I want to keep him as far away as possible. Okay. So at this point now, these all get shuffled up. We'll start this all over again. Hopefully Buffy will get to go quickly here because Giles is definitely in trouble. Well, what do you know? When you ask and you shall receive. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with a maneuver. So it lets me draw a card. All right, I got another defense. And that lets me move. Question is, do I stay and fight? Or do I get the heck out of here? Well, I don't like skunk ape, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And Giles is going to go 1, 2. And he's going to go ahead and discard a card based on the boost that that card has. It's the number of doom tokens I can remove from the bridge. And I'm going to activate the bridge as well. So that one lets me heal a fighter, recovers 3. So he will recover 3 points of damage, which brings him back up to 4. So he was on death's door, and now he has recovered a little bit. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try this one. This is a scrimmage. And Skunk Ape has a defense of 0. Fantastic. So he's going to shuffle up after this. But I did deal 4 damage to him. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it brings him down to 5. And then it says, if you win the combat, move one of the fighters in the combat up to 2 spaces. 1. Well, it was here. 1, 2. Let's do that and kind of back off just a hair. That way then hopefully we'll see what happens with that. All right, so then Skunk Ape, I have to reshuffle his deck, and he's got a very small deck of 6 cards, so that can be good and bad, as he's got some brutal cards in there too. Okay, next is player 2. Okay, so it's both of us, and then the enemies are going to all go. I think I'm going to do a maneuver, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a card, and then move Willow there. And Terra, I'm going to move up here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and just do... I'm going to do another maneuver to draw 2 more, and I'll move Terra over there. Just kind of keep them all circling around. Okay, now the enemies. So we have Skunk Ape, 1, 2, so he's going to move 2 there. And then he's going to attack Buffy. You may move all fighters adjacent to Buffy. Do 1 damage each. Okay, so I think I am going to do that. Because that way then he's not going to punch me in the face afterwards. And he pulled that card again, so it was a bluff on his part, so he didn't do anything, and I can move him anywhere in that zone. So I'm going to go ahead and move him on down there. All right, so that was a dud, and deal 1 damage to each fire you moved, so I do at least get to damage him. All right, so then his stuff gets shuffled again. He's not going to be able to hit me again. Okay. Over to Tarantula. Tarantula's going to move 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Tarantula's going to attack Buffy as well. I'm going to go ahead and do a 3. Another dud. All right. So Buffy would recover 1, but she didn't take any damage. So then Tarantula also shuffles up. Those cards are great when they come up at certain times, just not when enemies are attacking. And you play a card, of course. Okay. That is Tarantula and Mothman. So Mothman, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's no way for Mothman to get to me. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, closest distance. All right, so from there, then, again, we're going to activate the different things. So he doesn't attack anybody. Next, Tarantula is going to add a web token on its space. And Mothman is going to increase the threat by 1 + 1 for the lowest bridge, which doesn't have any at this point. So that all gets cleared. And we'll see what happens with this. Okay. Mothman goes again. So Mothman is definitely going to move in and attack Buffy. Buffy only has 1 card, so she's going to have to take whatever he is dishing out. And I got lucky. Finally, I got lucky with that one. So Mothman doesn't do any damage, and this all gets shuffled up again. All right, next is Tarantula. So Tarantula is also going to attack Buffy. This could hurt. So it's 4. If Tarantula is in space with the web, the value of this attack is 6 instead. Ouch! So 6 damage on Buffy. So she's down to 8 from 14. That was a huge hit. Now player 1. All right, so Buffy does have Mr. Pointy. So I could take a shot. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to try it on Mothman. Dread. So increase the value of this card by 1 for each destroyed bridge. There isn't any. And he's going to move after this, so he's going to take 3 more damage. So that drops him down to 14. And then he moves to the closest starting space. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's going to be this one down here. Okay. So at least I was able to do some damage. And then as my second action, I'm going to go ahead and do a maneuver. So all effects on your opponent's card. Okay, so that could be good. I'm going to go ahead and move Buffy back 1, 2. And I'm going to discard this to activate that bridge. And Giles, I'm going to shift back as well. Just kind of take a defensive position. Player draws until they have 4 cards in hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So hopefully Buffy picked up some defense. I did. I picked up a lot of defense. All right, cool. Sweet. All right, so that was Buffy's turn. Now Skunk Man. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. He's going to attack Willow. Willow doesn't have a bunch of defense, so... Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one, which is a defense of 2, but it also cancels all effects on your opponent's card. Alright, so this one is Gruesome Lure. It is going to be 4 damage. It says, during combat, if Skunk Ape did not move this turn, the value of this card is 6. He did, but so it wouldn't have mattered. That would have canceled out. So he's going to do 2 damage to Willow, so she drops to 12, and we'll flip over to Dark Willow. All right, so that will be discarded along with his thing. He's gone, and now it is over to Willow to go. Well, I would love to be able to punch him in the throat, but if I do that, well, I could attack first and then move. It does let me move up to 4 spaces after combat, so that could be good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try this one. This is Dark Magic. It's a power of 3, and it's because she is Dark Willow, it is going to have an effect which says that during combat, I boost or blind boost this card. And I just have to double check. I'm pretty sure with that I do have to, I know I have to reveal a card, but I believe I discard it as well. All right, so it says the effect tells you to blind boost, reveal the top card of your deck, and add its boost value. Then discard it. The blind boost does not count as a drawing a card. Okay. All right. So first off, Skunk Man. He's going to block 2 if the opponent fighter is a sidekick. It is not. So he's blocking 2 of it, and I'm adding an additional 2 to that. All right, so it's a 5 to 2, so I do 3 damage to him, so he's down to 1 hit point left. And then that will be discarded. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and play this one. It's a 3 damage card. It has no other effect, and I'm going to target him to try to eliminate him. So he blocks 3. Okay. All right, so he blocked it all, but she does get to carry out the effect at the bottom, which lets her move up to 4 spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and move, I think, just back 1. Yeah, I think that'll be good that way. Then at least I'm away from Skunk Man. Nope, I got to carry out the effects. So Tarantula has that. Mothman's going to move up 1, and Skunk Man doesn't do any damage. All right, so almost got Skunk Man. And he has played 3 cards. So he does have that 0 card in there somewhere out of 3 cards left. So maybe I'll be able to take him out before he gets to go again. That would be great. I gotta keep moving. All right. First up is Mothman. All right, so Mothman is going to move up and attack Buffy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one. It's 3, and Buffy recovers after combat. All right, so this one is Vintage of Impending Doom. Immediately, if the printed value of the opponent's card is 4 or higher, ignore its value. Luckily, it's not. After combat, if Mothman won the combat, add a Doom token to each bridge. So he does 3, and I block 3, so it basically nullifies it. So that means I don't think, wins combat. So he is not going to be adding anything there, and Buffy will recover a hit point. She's back to 9. Okay. On to player one. So now it is Buffy's turn. So Buffy, what do you have? So you have a couple of... She's got a low card. We move all fighters adjacent to Buffy. After combat, move all fighters adjacent to Buffy to another space in their zone. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and try that. So I'm going to do 4, and I'm going to move, well, technically I'm there. So I need to do a move first. I'm going to do a maneuver. Lets me draw a card. So I'm going to go ahead and move here. Giles. Honestly, I think I'm okay right now there. And then, yeah, Buffy's going to go ahead and attack. She's going to attack Mothman. All right. And he nullifies it. Immediately after the printed value of the opponent's card is 4 or higher, ignore its value. So it's defense. I don't know if he technically would win the combat then because he's on defense. So I'm just going to go ahead and say no. But I still do get to carry out the effect. So it says you may move all fighters adjacent to Buffy to another space in their zone and then deal 1 damage to each fighter you moved. So he's in there. So I'm just going to shift him back 1. So he does take 1 at least. And then I will move Skunk Man. Doesn't really matter where, but because he only has 1 hit point left, that will defeat Skunk Man. So just out of curiosity, where was his next card? Okay, so it was 2 down. So I would have had to hit him twice more, or he would have attacked at least once. So, all right, so that is Buffy's turn. And she still has a little bit of defense left. So now we have Tarantula is going to go. So he's going to move. Or it's going to move, and it's going to attack Buffy. So Buffy, what do you got? So I'm going to go ahead and do cancel all the effects on your opponent's card. So Tarantula has, so they're both immediate. Trying to remember, let me double check. I think the defender takes precedent on that. Attacking. Declare, choose a reveal. Effects that resolve in combat have labels indicated that they occur immediate, during combat, after combat. Defender first. So I got lucky there. All right, so his effect, my effect triggers before his effect, which cancels that. So he's just going to do 1 damage to me. Or the Tarantula is going to do 1 damage. And that will take care of that. So Buffy's card came in handy there, because otherwise it would have canceled all effects on an opponent's card if Tarantula was in a space with a web. It's not. So it really wouldn't have had that much of an effect anyways. But all right, so Skunk Man is gone. And it's over to player 2. All right, so Willow. Willow, what are you going to do? Willow doesn't have a lot of attack cards at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and do a maneuver. And I picked up another Resurrect. Ugh. All right, so I'm going to kick around the back side there, and Willow's going to go here, so she could attack Mothman. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one here as a attack card. So it does 2, and it cancels all other effects on your opponent's card. All right, so this time then his goes off first, cancels her effects, which they were both the same, and it blocked 2, so it doesn't take any damage. All right, so that was everything Willow can do at the moment. All right, so then we carry out the effects. So Mothman does 1, and Tarantula adds another Web token. All right, so we're 2 and 2 now. I've done some damage to Mothman and none to Tarantula. Okay. So Mothman is next. He is going to move up 2 and attack Buffy. All right, so I'm going to have to play that. It's only going to block 1. And he cancels all effects of the card. And she's just going to take 1. So that kind of sucks because I would have been able to draw a card, but at least I only took 1 damage. All right, so that's it for Mothman. On to player 1. All right, so it's over to Buffy. Buffy's going to do a maneuver. Go there and discard. So I get to draw a card. And I'm going to discard 1 to take care or activate the bridge effects, which lets me draw until I have 4 cards in hand. So that at least gives me, all right, cool. So I got a little bit of fighting power now. And I can move Giles as well. So I'm just going to plop him there for the moment. All right, so that's everything there. All right, next is Tarantula to go. So it's only 1 space away, so it's going to move up and attack Buffy. Buffy does have a defense of 2. And it's a dud card. Okay, so no effect. And it says, after combat, you may move Buffy up to 3 spaces and deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter adjacent to her. Is there any way I can get next to both of them? Well, I guess at this point it's better to deal damage to Mothman because he is definitely harder to hit. So I'm going to just go ahead and do 1 to him and call it a day. Okay. And then finally, we have player 2. So player 2. Player 2 is Willow. Willow really doesn't have, again, any attack power at the moment. So I'm going to do a maneuver. Gives me another defensive card. So she's got some powerful defensive cards. I'm going to move down 1 with that and Terra. Okay. 1, 2. So I'm going to keep moving towards that because that could be helpful in determining or finding something to do there. All right, that is everything. So again, Tarantula is going to pick up 1 of those. And Mothman now has officially destroyed a bridge. So that's going to kick all the way back down. And this bridge is the first one to go. So this one goes up here, and then and then I have to handle the effects of it. So it says place Mothman adjacent to the hero with the lowest health, which he's already at that. And then each player discards a card. So each of us has to choose a card to drop. I'm going to go ahead and discard 1 of those for Willow, and Buffy has 3 of the same card, so she's going to drop 1 of those. All right. That is that. Now, if that bridge would have had any Doom tokens on it, they would have moved to the next bridge, next lowest bridge, which would have been this one here. All right, so that is that turn. Now, Mothman is almost at half health. I'm closing in. I just gotta hit him a few more times and I'll have him down there. So hopefully be able to do something here. All right, so player 2. Okay, so Willow is up to you, and I still don't have an attack card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a maneuver. It doesn't give me anything again. So I get to do a maneuver, so I'm going to move 2 down to here. Terra is going to move 2. And I think I will... which one to do? I really don't want to drop one of her. I'm going to drop one of the big ones, though, because I really want to activate this. So this says, reveal the top 2 cards of an enemy's deck and discard 1. So I'm going to choose Mothman, and I'm going to look at the top 2 cards. I'm going to discard 1 and put the other one back on top. They're both nasty. Overwhelming Dread. Increase the value of the card by 1 for each destroyed bridge, so it's going to bump it up by 1. Place the Mothman in the closest empty starting space. After combat, deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter. For each fighter damaged this way, add a Doom token to the lowest bridge number. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that one. And I'll keep this one on top, so I know for a fact that he's going to have a defense of 3 the next time I attack him. All right, so that was my first action, and then I'm going to go ahead and do, what's it called, a scheme. And this one lets me draw 2 cards, and then discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Deal 3 damage to a sidekick in your zone, even if it's your own. Okay. So I draw 2 cards, 1 and 2. And then this one, because I'm Dark Willow, draw the top 2 cards of your deck. Or discard. So there's 1 and 2. And then deal 3 damage to a sidekick in your zone. So I believe the minions do count as sidekicks. So, because otherwise there's no sidekicks in my zone. And, yep. I'm almost 100% sure. Let me double check. Might as well, since I've got this, but I'm pretty sure that the minions count as sidekicks. Just to be sure. Determining targets, attacking enemy. Alright, main enemy is called the villain, and the other enemies are called minions. These are the heroes and sidekicks controlled by player, but effects that specifically refer to heroes or sidekicks do not affect. Oh, they don't. Okay. So, the tarantula did not take the 3. Ah, oh, darn it. Well, I guess it's a good thing I checked, right? Okay. So, that is her 2 turns. 2 actions. Player 1. Okay. All right, so player 1. So I know for a fact he's going to block my first one. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. I know he's going to block it, but I might as well play it. All right, so it says increase the value of this card by 1 for each destroyed bridge, so it's going to bump it up 1. And place the Mothman on. All right, so his is going to go first because he's the defender. So he doesn't take any damage, but he is going to move to the closest starting space. And then I get to carry out my thing afterwards. We move your fighter up to 4 spaces. So we go 1 and 2 to be next to him. And I'm going to attack him again with this one. Unimaginable Terror. Deal 1 damage to each adjacent opposing fighter. For each fighter damaged this way, add a Doom token to the lowest numbered bridge. And he's going to block all of it again. Man. All right. Well, that was unfortunate. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. So, and he's going to go next. So if that next card is a dud, I'm going to be upset because that was my opportunity to hit him. All right, so he is going to add 2 Doom tokens to the bridge, I believe. All right, so I handled that, and then she's going to get to move. 1, 2. Yep. We go 1, 2, 3 to go there. All right, so Mothman is next, so he is going to attack. I'm going to take it on Willow. I'm going to risk it. It's a 50-50 pull, so I'm going to just play a 1. And it is the one that I was not wanting at this point, but she does get it, so she's going to get to draw 2 cards because of that. because she won. All right, and then this all gets shuffled up. So my opportunity has gone away. All right, and then Tarantula's going to go, and he's going to attack Buffy. Buffy has no cards. All right. So Tarantula on Buffy. So Tarantula's going to move one. I mean, he can move either way. No, it's going to be here, closest. Tarantula's hitting for 3. Place a web token on Tarantula's space, then place Tarantula in the closest empty starting space. Put the Tarantula's initiative card in the bottom of the initiative deck. Closest starting space to him is going to be that one up there, which basically just means that he gets to go again. So Tarantula's going to do 3. And then go again. So it's going to move to Giles. Oh, I forgot to add that. So Giles. It's going to do exactly the same thing. Hitting him for 3. 1, 2, 3. And then it goes again. I really don't like those cards. Yeah, because I have no cards at all there, so there's nothing I can play. So yeah, it's going to just move right back there and attack again, and that'll be it. That is going to take poor Giles out of the game. Okay, so Giles is gone. All right, cancel all effects. If Tarantula is in a space with a web token, also ignore. Okay, so it was able to take him out, and that was it. Okay, so it already has a web token, and then a threat is going to go up 1, 2, 3 because of the 2 tokens there. All right. So we'll see what happens here. My only shot at this point is to take Mothman out, I think. Well, not before he goes. So what do we got here? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that one. And he plays. All right, so it's a double cancel, but hers goes off first. Doesn't really make a difference, and she doesn't take any damage. Okay. Player 1. All right, so player 1. Player 1 is going to do a maneuver. So I get to draw a card. All right, and I'm going to go there. Well, I can move up to 3, so I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go ahead and attack him for this. All right, so deal 1 damage to each adjacent fighter. So that's after combat. So it's going to block everything but 1. So I do 1 damage to it at least. And then it is going to, I get to draw 2 cards because I did win the combat. All right, and I got 1 defense. Now I get the training. All right, so it says after combat, deal 1 damage to each adjacent opposing fighter. Each fighter damages this way, add 1 doom token to the lowest numbered bridge. So I've got 4 of them on there. Ouch. So Buffy takes 1 and Willow takes 1. Okay. All right. That's everything for Buffy. Over to Willow to go. So I really need to do a maneuver. All right, right, so I'm going to do a maneuver, and I am going to go ahead and discard to activate, just to activate it so that I can get rid of, well, I really don't want to get rid of those. I have, these are good cards. Ooh. Buffy's close. Yeah, before I do the maneuver, I'm going to go ahead and do an attack. So I'm going to go ahead and do this and see where I sit with things. All right, so this one says, during combat, it's flayed alive, so it's a 4. And this one is Vengeance of Impending Doom. Printed value of the opponent's card is 4 or higher. Ignored its value. It is 4 or higher. So I don't know if that effect goes off and would go over that or not. It says the printed value. So I think I still get to, well, I boosted by 1, which he blocks the 1. All right, so that was a big dud. All right, so no effect there. I'm going to try it again. I really need to hit him. All right, so after combat, deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter. For each fighter, damage this way. Man, he's got some powerful cards. All right, so I'm going to boost it. Wow, by 3. So I'm doing 4 damage to him. There's 1, 2, 3. So he's down to 8 hit points. All right. So I can't do the bridge. So, and then it is the tarantula to go. So 1, 2, 3. So no matter which way the tarantula goes, it's not going to get to one of the characters. Okay. So tarantula cannot add any more webs because it is out of webs. Mothman is going to bump that up by 5 points. So he is going to destroy another bridge. So this one's gone, and these all move to this bridge. This one's gone. So then each player discards a card. I guess. Oof. Oh, and I forgot each one of us takes a damage. So Buffy's down to 2. So I'm going to go drop that. Buffy has to drop 1. So drop that one. Okay. So that takes care of all of that. And then Mothman recovers 1 health for each player still in the game. So he's going to recover 2. So he's back up to 10. All right, so player 2 goes again. Willow has no attacks. All right, so I'm going to do a maneuver. It's Hacker. Does let us move. But I'd also like to be able to attack. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that to do the maneuver. So that's going to activate that. Looking at the top 2 cards. So they're both bad again. Man. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that one. Unimaginable Terror is bad as well. I guess I'll do another maneuver. I'm going to go ahead and move here. I'll discard that to again activate that. So I know which one. Okay, so I have Deception coming up next. So I know what's coming. All right, so I'm going to drop that one, and then hopefully Buffy will go before Mothman, but my luck probably isn't going to be there. Yep, I didn't think so. So Mothman is going to attack, but I know at least that what he's going to have. So I'm going to go ahead and play this card. It says after combat, draw a card if you win, and draw 2 instead if you, or if you win, draw 2 instead. So I get to draw 2. So there's that. And then Mothman stuff gets reshuffled. I don't know, with the bridges going down and those cards getting bumped, seriously, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to take care of this. Okay. Tarantula's up next. So Tarantula's going to move and attack Willow. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do that one. Tarantula. Sinister Strike. When did I? Oh, geez. That was all the way back there. I screwed that up. Alright, so I'm going to play that and then I'll shuffle up afterwards. So it says if Tarantula is in a space with a web token, the value is 6 instead. It's a 4. Alright, so it doesn't do any damage. This all gets shuffled up. I get to choose a card in my discard pile. I'm just going to try for maximum damage here. That's pretty much all I can do. All right, over to Buffy to go. So Buffy, you've got a couple of options here. It's just one defense and one offense. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with the 4. Man, again. These cards are killing me. So immediately, if the printed value of the opponent's card is 4 or higher, ignore its value. After combat, if Mothman won the combat, add a Doom token to each bridge. Alright, so I think he technically would win then, because my value is 0. And I lost, so I'm going to take a damage due to the card's effect. And I'm going to go ahead and do a maneuver. Lets me draw. I'm going to move back 2, and I'm going to discard 1 to remove 2 from that. And this one lets me move a fighter up to 3 spaces. One, two, 3. Might keep me alive. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then Mothman is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. As there's 3 plus the 1, and then Tarantula doesn't have any webs. Okay, so the third bridge is about to go down if I don't do something with that. And Mothman is still at 10 health. Okay. And Mothman gets to go, so he is going to... can move through there. 1, 2. There's no way he can get to us, so he'll move there. Okay, there's nothing else he can do. Player 1. All right, I'm going to do a maneuver. Let me draw a card. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and try this one here. Alright, Overwhelming Dread. During combat, increase the value of this card by 1 for each destroyed bridge, so it's up 2. Man, so he is just like... You almost have to go after him super fast. Because these cards are just brutal then. So this is a 6/4, and there's 2 of these in the deck. There's 2 of those in the deck that nullify 4-pointers. So I don't do any damage to him. And then he moves to the closest starting space, so he's going to move there. And then I get to move all fighters adjacent to Buffy to another space in their zone and deal 1 damage to each fighter you move. So I at least do 1, but I don't think it's going to be enough. In their zone. I might as well just leave him there. And there's web tokens everywhere, so Willow's not going to be moving too fast. And it is player 2's turn. He's over in blue, and there is nothing over there. So I'm going to do a maneuver. All right. Yeah, there's like barely any way to get there too. One, two. Or do I just stay there now? 1, 2. All right. And I'll do a second maneuver. 1, 2 stops me there. And then from there, I am going to, so what do I do with her now? I could keep moving her that way. Tarantula's up next. Tarantula's coming my way. 1, 2, 3. So he's going to be able to attack Buffy. So 2 there for Willow or for Tara. And we'll see how this goes. All right. So Tarantula's going to go next. 1, 2. And attack. And Tara. I'm going to go ahead and play the 1. So it says immediately cancel all effects on the opponent's card. If trapped in a space with a web token, ignore those cards' values. So it is not, but so I'm just going to take cancel all the effects. So I'm just going to take 2 because I block 1. Okay. So I don't get to draw a card. All right. Tarantula's there, and Mothman is going to destroy that bridge. And now it's down to just the 4th bridge, which is also going to heal him 2 points. So he's up to 11. I just can't catch a break here. I think this game's done. Done. Add +1 to all enemy attacks for the rest of the game. Yeah. This is brutal. I feel like I started off good and then I just kind of lost momentum there about mid-game. Alright, so player 2. I'm going to do maneuver, so I get to draw 2. Willow, or Tara's going to move back. She really needs to get there. And Willow is going to move there. Alright, and I'm going to do it again. So there's that. So Willow is going to move 2. Tara moves 2. And I'm going to activate that bridge. Now I've got some good cards. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one here. Or, no, I'm going to do this one because these actually might give me a chance of getting through some of that. So I'm going to be able to drop 3 of them off of there. So at least that, and then I get to activate it. So I'm going to look at the top 2 cards. So we have Unimaginable Terror and cancel all effects. All right, so I definitely want that one out of there. Because canceling effects is okay. I can at least do something, maybe. All right, next is Mothman. So he is going to attack Buffy. All right, and she has to block. So he's gonna block. He's gonna do 2 and nullify her effects, but she's gonna block all of it, so she doesn't take any damage there. And Tarantula is going to go. So if it is anything but the 0 card, she is dead. All right, so Buffy's gone. All right, so that's it for Buffy, and that will be her card. So she's out of it. Willow can bring her back because I do have the Resurrection. And Mothman is going to bump up. So this resets, and he's bumping it by 2. And again, Tarantula doesn't have anything. Okay. So player 2. All right, so I get to go first. So I basically have to go right into the dragon's mouth to be able to hit him, because I can't get... I could go there. Okay. I mean, it probably doesn't really matter too much. All right, so I have to do maneuver first. So I'm going to have to draw a card. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I have to stop there. Terra, I think, is just going to stay. Or do I try to block for Willow? All right, I don't think I'll act. Well, I should probably activate the bridge. What to activate it with, though? All right, so... Well, I'm going to try that one, so that'll take care of that, and then reveal 2 cards. So it's Overwhelming Dread, Unimaginable Terror. So it probably don't matter. All right, so increase the value. So that one definitely not. Deal 1 damage. Okay, so that one's just 3, but okay, so I have 1 attack left. So I'm going to hit him with the big one, and it also lets me reveal a card afterwards. So it's going to add 2 more to it. So it blocks 3, so I'm going to do 3 to him. So that brings him back down to 8 again. I've been there before. And okay. All right. Tarantula is going to go. Move 1 and attack Terra. And all I have is Willow cards, so Terra's going to have to take it. So each web. Okay, so it doesn't have that option. All right, and this is going to go back in the bottom of the deck. So Terra's going to take 3. And put Tarantula's initiative card. Closest empty starting space. Which is going to be over here. Okay. Mothman's up next, so he's going to attack Willow. I think I'm just going to take it. And it's the 0 card. Ugh. I mean, it works out, but it also doesn't. So this all gets shuffled up. Willow doesn't take any damage. And Tarantula's going to move 3. Alright. So Mothman's bumping that by 1. This gets shuffled. Okay. And it's player 2. All right, let's try it. So it's 3. And this one is deal 1 damage to each adjacent opposing fighter. For each fighter damaged this way, add a Doom token to lowest number bridge. Alright, so I am blind drawing, so I add 2, so I'm going to do 2 to him from that. And I do 1 damage. It's adding it to the bridge. I'm going to try it again. Alright, melee printed value. Alright, so it is not a 4 or higher. So I have to boost. So it's 5. He takes 4. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And that is his turn. So I think at this point, the only chance I have is to resurrect Buffy, which will be next turn at this point. Alright, so Mothman is next. He is going to attack Willow. Alright, so it's a 4, and it says deal 1 damage to each. Man, so that again. So it's going to add another one there. And Willow's going to take 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tarantula is going to move and attack. Tarantula is in space of the web. Alright, so he's not, but that will be enough to take Terra out. So Terra is gone now. And Mothman's going to bump 1, 2, 3. So it is right there on the verge. Alright. So player 2. Alright. So I have to do... So I'm going to do a maneuver first. I'm going to move there. Well, the question is, when she brings a player back, choose a friendly fighter who has been defeated, place the fighter in any space in Willow's zone, and then set their health to 3. So when she brings them back, where does their initiative go? Does it just get shuffled in with the other ones? And this doesn't cover that. Well, I can't see anything in there about it, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this, and I'll just shuffle the card in, and we'll see what happens. If it comes up, then we'll see what happens with that. So she's got 3 health. All right. Oh, and it did come up. Holy smokes. So now the question that comes up, is that card going to be an attack card? Because I have to do a maneuver to draw, and it's a discard. Cancel all effects on your opponent's card. I've got 3. So the only way this works is if that card is the 0 card. Well, I don't have any other choice, so let's find out. It is not. It is a 0 card, or a 2/2 card. So no effects. Nobody takes any damage. All right. So over to Tarantula. Tarantula is going to move up and attack. And that will take Buffy back out. And then Mothman is going to move up and attack. And this one is increase the value. Okay. So he is going to hit for a ton, and that will take Willow out. And that is game. So that was really close, though. I did get him down to 2 health at the end there. So if I would have been able to do a little bit more during the game. And the next card. Oh, man, the next card would have been it. That is crazy how close that was. Well, I wouldn't have mattered because I couldn't have made it the rest of the round, because that would have ended the game right there too. So yeah, that was really close. If that card would have come up, that would have been game in my favor, and it didn't, so it didn't work out. Well, you can't get any closer than that. I hope you found the video helpful and entertaining. Let me know in the comments down below if you noticed if I did anything wrong, or if you have those answers to some of those questions that kind of came up. There was a couple of things there, obviously, with the resurrection and a few other things where obviously you're using a system that was originally designed to be competitive, and now they're trying to mix a cooperative version of it in there. So there's a couple of things that don't line up perfectly well with some of that stuff, and there's some questions, but overall it was a great game, and it really came down to the wire there. I had a blast there at the end, and it was so close. Buffy almost had it there. If she would have gotten a little luckier, things would have been a little different, but that's the way it goes. So hopefully she'll come back next time and take care of business. Well, again, I hope you found the video helpful. Again, let me know in the comments down below on your thoughts and if this is one that you picked up. And until next time, I'll see you later.